And welcome back to Washington Commanders Insider. Today, we are looking at possible free agents that the Washington Commanders can sign. And we're looking at players that more than likely are going to be released from their teams or have expressed that they want to move on in free agency. And so let's start with a player that was just recently released here from the Miami Dolphins, and that is Kendall Fuller, right? Cornerback that we actually had on our team for some time here with Washington. He was incredibly durable for us. He was included in the Alex Smith deal, went over to Kansas City, and then he came back to us here. And so, look, he's now available. And look, I think that if he still has something left in the tank, I think that you absolutely go out and you do get Kendall Fuller because, look, I think that just the fact that he was very durable for us out there. Here's a player that has 16 career interceptions. And what I love most about Kendall Fuller is that he just has real good instincts as far as playing the football and understanding when to go in for a pass breakup. And you love the fact that he's actually from the DMV. And so it's almost like coming home again. So I definitely would love to see him come back. I think that that is a situation that maybe makes sense for the Washington Commanders. And I think that you're probably going to get him on a discounted deal. I really do, because, I think the last deal that he had there was 2 years at $15 million there. Obviously, you see that the Dolphins have moved on, and we know that the Washington Commanders need some assistance here in the secondary. They want to shore that up, even though I think that became one of the strengths of the defense. It got better over time. I think that certainly bringing a veteran presence over with Marshawn Lattimore, you pair that with Mikey Samra still, I think that that is a very good secondary. And you still have the opportunity to go out and spend some of your draft capital to get a future cornerback. And so I definitely think that bringing in Kendall Fuller is a player that definitely helps you kind of bridge the gap there as well, and bringing this maybe young corner along until he's ready to start. And so I do like a possible reunion with Kendall Fuller. And so next up, another player that I think the Washington Commanders could maybe take a chance on here, and I know he's going to be just a free agent, but I think that the Washington Commanders maybe take a chance with DJ Reed. And so, look, DJ Reed played alongside of Sauce Gardner over at the Jets. And look, he had a pretty good season, and he's actually been pretty solid for the Jets. I think here this last season was seeing the statistic here look, as far as completion percentage, only giving up 57% as far as the completion rate there. Only gave up 2 touchdowns as well when he was targeted. So that is some very good numbers. And look, he's 28 years old. And so I think he's 28 years old. I think he still has a ton left in the tank. And I think what I most like about him and why I think that this is a possibility for the Washington Commanders is that I think Adam Peters at San Francisco originally was involved as far as drafting him into the NFL, because he played 2 seasons with the 49ers in 2018, 2019. He moved on to the Seahawks in 2020 and 21. He's been with the Jets since then. Obviously, the Jets have struggled. And look, I saw something here. It was posted on SportsIllustrated.com where he was just saying, look, he's ready to move on. And I think that now he's in a situation where maybe he wants to get back into playing some winning football. That suggests the Washington Commanders, to me, would be a great fit. And when you're looking at just his statistics and what he's been able to do, look, so far he's got 6 career interceptions. Again, he's more of just a player that I think he's been. What I like most about him is he's physical at the point of the attack. Like, he's one of the players that I think that can help you in the run game. And I also love the fact that he's a guy that I think the Washington Commanders would love as far as playing press coverage. He has the shades of Marshawn Lattimore. He really, really does. And so that's what I do like about him, that if you put him on an Allen, I feel like that, he's a player that is going to make it very difficult for wide receivers. And so I definitely like him as a possible signing over here. I think maybe you're looking at maybe 3 at 30 million or something like that for him, depending on what the market is saying here. But I definitely think, for an established corner at 28, I think that that's something that does make sense for the Washington Commanders here. And so lastly, another player that I think the Washington Commanders will certainly take a look at, and it's going to depend if he does get released. And I know that he hasn't necessarily embraced the Washington fan base, and that is Devante Adams, right? I think that Devante Adams is very much maybe a player that does make his way over to the Washington Commanders, because when you look at the contract and the situation that is going on with the Jets, I think that they clearly are in a situation where they want to clean house. And I think the bottom line here is that the Jets are trying to really, I think they want to save some money here in moving on from him. I think that if they do go ahead, they let him go, and I think cut him, I think by June 1st, they could save themselves 36.2 million here in 2025. And so with that being said, they're going to save some cap space. You wouldn't have to go out and trade for Devante Adams. He is 33 years old, but I think he still has enough in the tank to definitely be a number two. He can also be somewhat of a 1B for you as well. And I think that, it's going to depend on the fact of, do the Washington Commanders go out and get him at a discounted deal? I don't think that you go out and you pay him the type of money that, he had been making. But I do think if you're bringing him in as a solid number two, here's a player that got 1,000 yards in receiving between two teams. I can imagine, like I said before, between him and Terry McLaurin, I think that both of these players work well with one another. He had, I think, over 70 receptions on the year between two clubs. And so I definitely think that he could still make that happen. And also, too, when you look at some of the plays that he made with the Jets, he also caught like a lot of bubble screen passes and things like that, which is definitely part of what the Washington Commanders want to do. We know that Devante Adams can stretch the field, and I know he doesn't necessarily get the separation that he used to, but with that big frame that he has and still the ability to still run away from players, look, I think that, yes, that would be a pretty good fit for the Washington Commanders if they get him on a discounted deal. And so anyway, let me know in the comments what you think about this. Do the Washington Commanders maybe take a chance on some of these free agents that have been released, like a Kendall Fuller? Do you think that maybe they are set to maybe make a reunion here with a cornerback in DJ Reed? And I say a reunion because of Adam Peters and the connection that he's had with him with the 49ers. And do you think that, yes, maybe the Washington Commanders would take a chance with Devante Adams? And here's what I will say about that. Recently, he was asked about, the Washington Commanders, and he said that, hey, he would have to give up number 17 because Terry McLaurin wears that. And I said that, I think the host was like, hey, you thought about it, and they laughed about it. But it does make me think that maybe Devante Adams has thought about possibly joining the Commanders, especially with Jaden Daniels having this rookie contract. We have this window right now. I think it is a real possibility that maybe he does come to the Commanders. But anyway, let me know what you're thinking in the comments. And as usual, we'll be talking more about what the Washington Commanders could do this offseason. We'll also be talking about just the roster moves and things like that they do make as these news and happenings do break. And as I always say, go Commanders. I will see you on the next one. All right, peace.